Um, I didn't get to look through this one, completely. This is something that I actually found just before going live, and I'm like, "What's this?" Something that might be of interest. I'll get to hear it first with me. Here's the state rep demands investigation after 7 vehicles carrying a dozen ATF agents with AR-15s and tactical gear raided gun dealer's home in Oklahoma. State Representatives Justin Murphy of District 19 in Push Pushmataha County, Oklahoma, has called for a thorough investigation into allegations of constitutional and civil rights violations by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. The allegations were brought forward by 52-year-old high school history teacher, Baptist pastor, and part-time gun dealer Russell Fincher. Mr. Fincher claims that the ATF agents employed intimidation tactics and coercion to force him into surrendering his federal firearms license. Fincher has been a federal firearms license holder for 3 years and has mostly dealt with firearms at gun shows. Fincher claims that the ordeal began when he seemingly innocuous call from the ATF in April asking for permission to inspect his home based gun business. Fincher willingly agreed and welcomed the two ATF inspectors. The inspectors photographed some of Fincher's 4473 forms with their cell phones, a practice Fincher later discovered is illegal but reportedly common. According to the report of Lee Williams to the gun writer in June 16, 2023, as Fincher and his son were preparing for the gun show in Tulsa, they were unexpectedly confronted by a massive show of force. 7 vehicles carrying a dozen ATF agents armed with AR-15s and dressed in tactical gear raided Fincher's home in Clayton. This intimidating display culminated in Fincher being handcuffed on his deck while surrounded by agents. The presence of armed agents and their aggressive behavior left Fincher and his son traumatized. It was like Trump raid. They called me out onto my deck and handcuffed me. My son was there and saw the whole thing. He's 13 years old. They held me on the porch for about an hour. I was surrounded by agents. One by one, they yelled at me about what I was doing. In my mind, I decided if they were going to beat me up over every little thing, I'm done. As soon as as soon as I said, if you want my FFL, you can have it. One of the agents pulled out the piece of paper and said, "Well, then sign here." He had made 3 copies in case I screwed one up. It was exactly what they wanted. I was shocked. They just wanted to take away his license to actually sell guns. To take away your license to actually sell guns or whatever really takes away his own business for what it is. Doesn't actually take away his right to actually possess a gun. It was kind of strange in itself, though. During the raid, ATF agents pressured Fincher to terminate his federal firearms license. They presented him with a prepared termination documents and coerced him at gunpoint into signing them, using the threat to further action against him and the firearms dealing acquaintances. A Colt Commander, 5 Glocks, and a pristine AK, Polytech pre-band machine underfolder, where thousands of dollars were among the firearms the ATF loaded up as soon as Fincher surrendered his federal firearms. Like, why would they take his weaponry from him? Just because he gave up his federal firearms license, which he uses to actually go and sell, doesn't actually give the reason for them to actually take away his personal stuff. They took more than 50 of my personal guns. I asked them why, and they said their evidence. I'd estimate they took about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of guns. The agent's actions resembled extortion rather than legitimate law enforcement search. Furthermore, one agent's statement, "Tell your firearms buddies we are coming for them," uh, constituted an unlawful threat and an abuse of authority. Yeah, it did. Nice list of everything that they actually took. A bunch of palmettos, Glocks, Henrys, Smith and Wesson's Tauruses, multiple different, several different serial numbers, pistols, shotguns, revolvers. Page 2. The gun writers. After ATF SWAT team cleared Fincher's home, they called the agents in charge of the raid, Special Agent Theodore Mongol. It told him it was safe to come up. You're done. We have to shut you down, Fincher recalls Mongol saying. You tell all your FFL buddies we're coming for them. We're shutting the gun shows down. Okay. Shutting down gun shows? Mm-hmm. One agent told me that they hate home FFLs. He said if he wanted to sell a Browning shotgun to someone at a gun show with no paperwork, that's no problem. But when I sell a Glock or an AR lower than a gangbanger, I asked him where it said that in the regs. He said no gangbanger would be shooting people with a $2,000 Benelli. To me, that was one of the dumbest statements he could have made. Several agents accused Fincher of making too much money through the gun show sales. He told them that the last show he attended, he only made sold $75 worth of ammunition, but spent over $1,200 in hotels, tables, gas, and food. They said I was basically using my FFL to sell guns personally. They said I was going around the system putting guns in the street. That should not be. Fincher was told to load the firearms ATF didn't want into the back of his pickup, which he later took to another FFL. Toward the end of the ordeal, Fincher asked Mongo about his guns they had seized. He told me, if you're willing to forfeit them, we can make a lot of this go away. This sounds to me like a shakedown. They seized my guns as punitive damage. They knew how to get me by taking all of my guns. There was no rhyme nor reason to what they took, honestly. They took the most expensive and rarest ones. Williams wrote that the Investigative Journalism Project and Second Amendment Foundation called ATF Special Agent Theodore Mengel to ask him why he had invaded Fincher's home and taken his firearms. I can't answer any questions. I'm not supposed to do that per my agency. Actually, I'm not supposed to talk to anyone until I get approval from my higher ups. I have to verify who you are, take down your info, and go through my agency. State Representative Justin Humphrey, upon receiving Fincher's report, took immediate action to address the ATF misconduct. On Wednesday, Rep. Humphrey forwarded the report to relevant Oklahoma authorities, including Attorney General Gunther Drummond, Pushmataw County Sheriff B.J. Hedgecock, and Governor Kevin Stitt. He called this a thorough investigation into potential violations of state and federal laws, as well as infringement upon Fincher's constitutional rights. According to Humphrey's Facebook page, he is contacted by Russell Fincher, who lives and owns a firearms business in Clayton, who said his home has been raided by about a dozen ATF agents who coerced him at gunpoint to sign prepared paperwork to terminate his federal firearms license. Fincher said his 13-year-old son was present. They kind of started going through and repeating themselves on a lot of this. If this report is true, then I have a reason to believe it is. Then it would appear that the ATF's actions constitute a gross misuse of abuse. The investigation prompted Humphreys to report should focus on several key areas to uncover truth and ensure abuse of authority, determine whether ATF agents abused the law enforcement powers to coerce and extort, which I believe they did. Threats against firearms dealers, investigate the agents' alleged threats against firearms dealers in Oklahoma, which would constitute a violation of the rights and abuse of authority. I would agree to that as well. And then there's no official document to actually go along with it that we pretty much just read through twice, it seems. It kind of a disturbing occurrence for them to actually for the ATF to continue to actually go around to multiple different places and actually do just this over and over again is very disturbing. Very disturbing to actually see. National Chairman trying to make them sound like organized group. Hmm. What's up, Keith Gregory? Um, his shirts found himself a God-fearing bride and gone on honeymoon. I have no clue. I've been trying to get a hold of him. I've tried to call him because I have a personal number. I've tried different ways of actually getting a hold of him. In that there's nothing, no way that I've been able to actually get in contact with him at all. I've asked others to try get in contact with him. They've been unable. Charlemagne, if you have the abilities to actually try reaching out to him, please do. Please do. Let him know that we're all concerned and we're all worried about him. Supreme Court paved the way to start suing the ATF for this kind of shit. I could see that. I could see that. What's up, Riverton? Good to see you. Uh, that could be just 5 guns. Special agent need to be safe because he's special. The process is the punishment. It seems that way. It seems that way. What's up? Amazing disgrace. KLI, what's up? Not to mention shooting people's puppies. That's happened as well. Exactly. Shirts, phone home. We miss you. We miss you. We're concerned about you.